So this is Engineering Statistics and Linear Algebra, 18 EC 44, Module 2, Lecture 1, first lecture of the multiple random variables, right? So here, what is more important is whenever we talk about the multiple random variables, we should we generally consider two features, and these two features are, one is more mathematical and the other is more application oriented. Okay, one is mathematical and another is application oriented. So when we talk about the mathematical feature, then what we consider is the logical consistency, or you can say uh, when we consider a single random variable, there will be one random variable. When we say multiple random variable, there will be many random variables. So how do we progress from one random variable to the multiple random variables is what we will check in the mathematical features, that is the logical consistency. For example, when we consider the one random variable, the CDF, the cumulative distribution function, is written like this: fxx equal to p of x less than or equal to x. So when we go for two random variables, now we have x and y. Earlier we had only x. Now we have x and y. So therefore, in place of this x, you will have capital XY. In place of this x, you will have small x comma small y. So this is capital XY and this is small x comma small y, and that will be probability with respect to x less than or equal to x intersection. This is more important. It is intersection y less than or equal to y less than or equal to. So two different random variables where x is less than x and y is less than y, both should be, the intersection of that should be considered. So in the same way, if we increase it to many different random variables, so this is two random variables, then if we say multiple or multivariate random variables, correspondingly multivariate CDF of the order n, then we'll have f of x1, x2 dot 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 xn, and here I will write x1 comma x2 dot 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 xn. So this is the random variable, and whereas this is the outcome of the random variable. So there we will be taking all this x1 less than x1, x2 less than x2, xn less than xn, and we should take the intersection of all of them, probability of that total quantity with the intersection considered for each of the random variable there. That is the mathematical representation there, or mathematical feature there, about how we, what you call, go from the single random variable to two random variable and then to many different random variables. The second is application oriented. In the application oriented, what we are more bothered is the correlation between the two different random variables. This correlation will be generally non-deterministic fashion, and in that case, when we talk about correlation, it will be in the form of pair xy. That means the number of observations, if we record n observations of the xy pair, then we have n pair of data. If we record n observations of the what you call pair xy, we have n pairs of data xi comma yi with I equal to 1, 2 till n. If these data are plotted, if you try to plot these data, they might appear as illustrated in the figures. So it might be like this, like this, like this. You just are trying to plot xi dot yi in different ways for n different pairs of data, right? Here, here, and here. So now if you see here, this is arranged like this. So that means it's having a positive slope. This is arranged like this. So that means it has a negative slope. We are trying to approximate all the points to a line. If we approximate it to a line here, you can approximate it to a line over here. Whereas here, you can't approximate it to a line. So slope here is positive, slope here is negative. There is no slope here. And that's what he's telling here. If one imagines a straight line somehow centered through the data, the sign of the slope signifies the correlation, that is positive, negative, and 0. So you can't tell anything here at all. So finding this correlation in application is extremely significant because they may reflect some direct underlying physical connection between X and Y. Okay, may reflect. It's more important to see here may, or rather it can say may and may not reflect. But many times we see that it does reflect. Okay, there will be a correlation between, if there is a correlation between X and Y, then definitely there will be a physical connection between those two. Okay. Now let us consider the cumulative density, distribution function, CDF, as well as the probability density function for the bivariate case. Then we can just, extend it to the multivariate case. So when two random variables are considered once, we say that they are bivariate. Bivariate random variables occur when, for example, the input to a system at time t1 is a random variable x. So you have a system, input to that system at time t1 might correspond to random variable x, and the system will have an output also, and the output from the system at the time which is t2 is also a random variable y. So there will be a relationship between x and y. Depending upon the input, output also will appear. How much correlated they are is the issue there. Similarly, you can have an input and a noise as two different random variables. So if the input increases, will the noise increase or decrease? Okay, or they remain same is the question which we generally consider. So that means signal to noise ratio at the input, will it go on varying depending upon the signal being applied at the input, or it will remain same, is what we might need to consider. Similarly, by some means of transformation passing through the system, the noise might get suppressed, the noise might get increased, all these things might happen. So that thus we'll get a correlation between the different quantities there. So we have here the bivariate cumulative distribution function first, CDF first, and then we'll go for the density function. So a bivariate cumulative distribution function, that is of a cumulative distribution function of two different variables x and y, can be written as two different random variables x and y, can be written like this. And we visualize observation of x and y as points on the xy plane. Then, as we see in the figure 3.2, they might be plotted anywhere over here. So the bivariate CDF 3.1, whatever equation is given, is the probability of bivariate observations occur in the quarter plane to the left of or below the point xy. So here, right, below this point xy, whatever we have, we are talking about that. The reason being that if you go back over here, if I try to write fx of infinity, then x is less than infinity and x is less than infinity will give me a value 1. If x is equal to minus infinity, then x is less than or equal to minus infinity. That means it's an impossible event. You don't have anything less than minus infinity, right? So if it is x is minus infinity, then this quantity will be 0 because it becomes an, if this will be a probability will be 0 and fx will be a null, and because of the reason that nothing can be lesser than minus infinity. Similarly, if x is equal to infinity, then everything is below infinity. Therefore, this will be a total probability function that will be equal to 1. So when we go to the two random variables xy, then the bivariate CDF is just f of xy, x comma y, x will become now x comma y, and x, probability of x less than or equal to small x intersection of y less than or equal to small y is what we can consider for the two different variable CDF or bivariate CDF. So extending it for the further, so going in the same way, now we can say that the CDF in the probability distribution or probability of the bivariate observations occurring in the quarter plane left of and below the point xy. Okay, left of and below the point. Left is this side, below is this side. So whatever we are talking about this. So consider a bivariate CDF evaluated once at x comma y, and then once again at x plus dx comma y plus dy as shown in the figure 3.3. So in the figure 3.3, if you see over here, right, we can consider x plus dx comma y plus dy. So we can consider the what you call at x comma y, you evaluate it and again you evaluate it at x plus dx and y plus dy. What is the difference between these two is what we might be considering. So the difference between these two bivariate CDF is the probability, which is the differential probability or dp, which must be non-negative because it represents the probability of observations occurring in a shaded area of figure 3.3. That means this area is bigger than this area. That is what it means. And definitely this should be, probability of this should be greater than the probability of this. So you will get positive only. It will be non-negative. Okay, it will be positive or same. So using the two-dimensional, Taylor's expansion, you can write here dp is equal to f of xy, difference we are writing of the cumulative distribution function at x plus dx comma y plus dy. Here it is just xy. So if you apply the Taylor series or Taylor expansion, it looks something like this. Okay, x equal to f of a plus f dash a x minus a. So if you write here x plus dx, then you can write this as x plus f dash x dx plus f double dash x by 2 factorial, dx square and so on. So we'll take only the first, to the what you call approximation of the second term over here. First term will get cancelled. F of xy of x comma y will cancel with f of xy x comma y. So second term for x is this, and third term for that will be, naturally I should change this to x to y rather. So we'll get this. Okay, so dash means differential, dx as it is, dy dy is again f dash of corresponding to the variable y, dy is the difference between these two in the y direction. So the differentials dx and dy are positive by assumption. Therefore, the bivariate CDF must be non-decreasing, non-negative and non-decreasing in both the x and y direction. So we'll have certain special cases. As I said, if you take minus infinity here, it will become 0. If you take here plus infinity, it will become 1. So in the same way, we can consider here f of xy minus infinity comma y is equal to p of 5 intersection y less than or equal to y equal to p5. This is null. Null intersection something will be null itself, and that will give us the value 0. Similarly, we can write f of xy x comma minus infinity is equal to 0, and f of xy minus infinity to infinity is equal to 0. When both the y and x tend to minus infinity. If here only one of them tends to infinity, also it is 0 because it is corresponding to intersection. So we will have f of x less than small x intersection 5, that is y less than minus infinity will give me the 5 value, and hence this whole thing will be 5. So in another special case, the event x less than or equal to infinity is a certain event s, and this is valid for any y on the xy plane. So if I write here infinity, then it will be definitely there, and we'll have the s as infinity. So infinity intersection this y less than y will be just y less than or equal to y. So in that sense, the result is a CDF for the single random variable y. In a similar way, you can write f of xy x comma infinity is equal to fx x. So and these two are known as marginal CDFs. These two are known as marginal CDF. Both x and y are arbitrarily large. It follows from the equations 3.6 and 3.7 that fxy infinity is equal to 1. So the results which are there in 3.6 and 3.7, which are fxx and fyy, are called marginal CDFs. The results in 3.3 to 3.8 till this position from the 3.3, which was there in the earlier slide, are all corresponding to the two random variable f of xy, are indicated by the examples in the figure 3.4. A, B, C, and are of course consistent with the requirement that fxy x comma y be non-decreasing in both the x and y direction. This is how the figure of the CDF looks like, these three different cases, right? So here it will be a general case. Here it will be only x variable. Here it will be only y variable. That is marginal, CDFs corresponding to the general variable and the, both the variables, only x here, only y here. Then the bivariate PDF, probability density function. The bivariate probability density function or bivariate PDF is defined as the differential. Now, this is twice differentiating, once with respect to x, another with respect to y of the CDF. Okay, PDF will be the differential of the CDF, but this will be, differentiated twice, one with respect to x, another time with respect to y. So till now we assumed that the 3.1 is a continuous function of xy and that there are a number of places where d by dx f of xy, finite number of places where d by dx f of x comma y and dou by dy of f of x y x comma y do not exist. There is always a possibility that at finite number of places the differentiation does not exist. Further, if there are discrete or mixed bivariate CDFs similar to the discrete or mixed single random variable CDF, we admit the use of two-dimensional unit. We generally consider the two-dimensional unit impulse response similar to the one which we consider for a single dimensional response to represent derivatives of discontinuities in the CDF, to represent the derivatives of discontinuities in the CDF. So if we follow the 3.9, which is there over here, and from the fact that the bivariate CDF is non-decreasing in both the direction x and y, that a bivariate PDF is always non-negative. So then we can write f of x, y, x comma y greater than or equal to 0 as minus infinity less than xy less than infinity. Okay, so this will be always greater than 0 if xy is between the minus infinity and plus infinity. So 3.5a, 5b, and 5c will give us the bivariate probability distribution function for the random variable x and y. So these are the figures which correspond to the PDFs over there, right? So this is totally discrete. This is continuous case. Okay. So this gives you the continuous case of the PDF, and this gives you the discrete case of the PDF only at fixed points. So when we consider the discrete or mixed case, then we'll have the unit impulse functions, and the in case of the PDF, in case of the CDF, it will become the unit step function, whereas unit impulse function in the case of the PDF, which will be derivatives of the CDF, right? So we'll have here the A, B, C, we have seen the figures there. The inverse of that will be, that means if you want to find the PDF, given the CDF, you have to differentiate the CDF to get the PDF. Whereas if you want to find the CDF given the PDF, then you need to integrate it. So that is the inverse relationship. So the CDF of two different variables is equal to double integral of the PDF of the two different variables. So definitely the volume under this two dimensional thing will be equal to 1. The volume under the bivariate PDF is equal to 1, and that can be seen by combining 3.11 with the 3.8, and that will be something like this. So infinity, infinity, minus infinity to infinity, minus infinity plus infinity. This will be the total probability, which will be, you know, P of x less than or equal to infinity, and y intersection y less than or equal to infinity. Again, that will be equal to 1. So the differential area dA, which is dx dy, if you take this over here, this is the differential area dx dy, that is dA, will be, you know, between the x dx and x values, and similarly might be you need to take between y and y plus dy. So we are talking about only this area, okay, only this area. That is what is shown in the figure, and we determine the probability of an observation occurring in the area dA, which is like this. So first we find the probability of a bivariate observation occurring in the strip shown in the figure 3.6 of the width dx and extending from minus infinity to y plus dy. That is, the probability is, you can take f of xy x plus dx comma y plus dy minus f of xy x comma y plus dy. So this is from the, you know, minus infinity to y plus dy only. So you can take it here as y plus dy and y plus dy over here, whereas here is x plus dx and here it is x only. Okay, so therefore here we have x to x plus dx, whereas here it will be minus infinity to y plus dy. So second, we perform the reverse function, that is extend the you know, we perform a similar calculation for the strip of the width dx, but extending from minus infinity to y. So here it is minus infinity to y plus dy, here it is minus infinity to y. So x plus dx comma y, x comma y. So that means here it will be, limits will be just same as this over here, whereas here the limits will be, here it is y plus dy, here it is only y of this. So you need to, you know, what you call, to find that, you need to find the difference of these two. So the probability of a bivariate observation in the differential area dA equal to dx dy is the difference between these two results. So if you subtract one from the other, then you'll get, in place of, you know, minus infinity to y and minus infinity to y plus dy, we'll get y to y plus dy. All the other things remaining same. This is same because both these are same. This both are same. Only difference is only in the integral. If you subtract from this quantity, you will get this integral, and that will turn out to be the f of xy, that is the probability density function multiplied by the area itself dx dy for the probability x comma y less than d. So in the figure, it's this is the illustration over there. We have x and d, x plus dx, y and y plus dy. So that's the area which is shown here, and with x and x plus dy, this is the area which we need to consider over here, because we are talking about the probability distribution function. Therefore, volumes between the bivariate PDF and xy plane are probabilities, and if we expand dA to a larger region, R, 3.13 becomes x comma y belonging to R. The integral will correspond to the region R, and we have the probability density function. Okay, this is the probability distribution function subtracted, and that is the probability itself, and this will be got by the double integral of in that region of the PDF. Okay, let us take some examples here. Shall we go to the next session for the examples? You have any doubts till now? Okay, I think I'll just pause.